Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Micah from This Is My World, and this is another guitar exercise. It's kind of similar to the last one. I don't know what you call it. I guess you call it like a no brace guitar exercise. So, like I said in the last video, I'm by no means a sweep expert. Barely, probably even in the intermediate range. But when I really got practicing sweeps for a while, I kind of go in and out. You know, when I'm practicing them a lot, I'm pretty decent at them. But when I haven't been like consistently daily practicing them to a metronome and all that stuff, it just kind of goes away. But anyways, one thing I learned when I was really sitting there on a metronome, practicing, examining, just looking at how I'm approaching these notes, I realized how much power I get from the brace. Now, when you think of the fingers, when you think of the things that you're doing with sweeping, you think, okay, left hand, right hand, you know, are all down strokes and then up strokes, and am I timing them correctly? Am I playing, you know, cool notes or whatever? But the forgotten thing of sweep picking is your thumb, because you really are getting a lot of power from being able to, like, the closer you get to the fretboard and the more, the less movement you make, the more precise you can be. But the reality is having that anchor is what makes it is what makes your fingers really strong. You get that muscle memory, and you're anchoring down your thumb. And like for me, I notice the reason I really noticed is because my thumb was hurting after I was doing all this guitar sweeping practice, and I never realized how much of your thumb went into it. So you're really anchoring down so that this can be the moving part, and this is the stable part. This is where you get the power. So you're like squeezing down this fretboard. So essentially when you play a note, holding down that note comes from the tension that's between your thumb and whatever finger's down there. That's why you kind of move your hand, not only because you need to reach the notes, but so you're anchoring it. Basically, imagine there's something connecting between whatever fingers are touching. So here's the exercise. The exercise is to remove your thumb and free float your hand so you can kind of reanalyze what you're really doing. It's a lot more difficult than it sounds. Because like I said, a lot of your power comes from the fact that your thumb is anchored, and you're really pressing down on the back of the fretboard. But when you're doing it just free floating, just sounds like garbage. So basically, it's a whole new way to learn it, and it actually looks back to the previous exercise I did where you're playing with your fingertips, and when you're sweep picking, probably you're a lot more prone to come in at like this kind of an angle, and like just kind of cut corners wherever you can. But the more you're able to come in perpendicular at a 90-degree angle, just to come in at your notes like this, the better your notes are going to sound, because you're going to be more precise when you play them. You're not going to get all this extra in between noise, all that kind of stuff, because you're going to be playing a note with intentionality. Like you're really going to be, I meant to play that. 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 You know? And it's hard, you know, to all these things that you practice, you know, when you're actually playing them and jamming it, to like put it into practice. But the point is so that when you're practicing, or you practice so that when you're doing it, it just comes natural. You don't have to think about it. It's muscle memory. So yeah, that's the no anchor guitar exercise. You don't necessarily have to do it up here or do it for sweeps at all. You can just, you know, you can just be doing it for riffing. And you can kind of see your hand compensates, and it's almost like you got your like this claw thing going on, because your thumb's no longer the anchor, and it kind of makes, for me, like, anyways, my body's trying to make my wrist the anchor. So, yeah, try that out and see if it changes your playing at all.